Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I had some issues with my Zoom that refused to work, but I'm here now. Just give me a second to find the presentation. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Had some issues with my computer. It's acting a little bit weird with the links from the browser, but we are good now. Well, welcome everyone to today's maintainer call. This is the first one of this month. As usual, we have the antitrust policy notice from Hyperledger. Keep that in mind. And as well, remember to adhere to the Hyperledger community code of conduct during this meeting. For today, I think we have a short agenda, so maybe it won't take too much time today's meeting. So as usual, we have introductions. I don't know if we have someone new today in the call that hasn't been before. Is anyone in the call that is this the first time joining this maintainers call?
I think that's my first time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe if you, let's see, do we have, yeah, we have a few people from outside IOG, so maybe you want to give a quick introduction.
Oh yeah, hi. So my name is Todor. I just joined a little more than 2 weeks ago in the QA for Atala. Still learning what I can help you with. Looks like a fun project to be in. Definitely a fun team.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, thanks. Is anyone else new to the call? If not, then we can continue. So regarding updates, well, good news. The OEA lab name change was approved. So basically, we are going to change the name from OEA lab, well, Open Enterprise Agent, into Identus. This new name was obtained as a process that involved the community. Basically, we asked for names. We did a little bit of a democracy process and voted for names. This one was the highest voted one. So we asked Hyperledger to review this name regarding feasibility, and they approved that last week. So soon you will be seeing a little bit of noise around changing the name. There is a lot of things that we need to do, but basically for everyone to be aware that the new name was approved. That means that basically the next maintainer's call will be the first Identus maintainer call that we host. Regarding the status of the project in the Hyperledger lifecycle, for now we continue to be an Hyperledger lab. So let's say that instead of being called Open Enterprise Agent Hyperledger Lab, now we are going to be Identus Hyperledger Lab. We are in the process of submitting the proposal. If someone is curious, what is that about? I'm showing my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
You're showing.
Okay. Okay. So if someone is curious about the process, basically you can find here the links of what is that about. There is a guideline provided by Hyperledger of what you need to consider when applying to a project, and also there is template for presenting the proposal. So basically, I'm working on this document. I have quite a good progress. The idea is I'm going to finish the draft and then I will share this with everyone. Basically, these proposals are presented as a pull request. For example, you can see here some incubation proposals for other projects. And you can see here the structure of what it is in there. So you can have some examples if you want to check it out of how this process is done. Yeah, that's the update on that matter. Does anyone has any questions regarding this topic?
Yeah, are we, as part of this process, finding a domain name?
Yeah, so quick question, did we register the domain yet or not?
I heard two questions at the same time, mix it. Can you repeat what's it first? I think it was John, right?
Yeah, we were asking the same question. I was
Oh,
asking
yeah.
about the domain name. I also want to say that I registered some Identist domain names. So if you guys are looking for one, like, please talk to me. So I'd be happy to give those to the community. So I just wanted them not to be taken.
Oh,
So
okay,
also-
well, that's...
I don't know if that's part of the process or you had one already, so.
Yeah, so basically what it seems to be is that all the Hyperledger websites related websites are within the Hyperledger domain. So for example, you don't have a ARIES domain for the ARIES project, or you don't find a Fabric domain for the Fabric project. It looks like they handled everything within Hyperledger dot something. So I'm not sure if we are going to need the domain, but thanks for the proactivity and taking that step. We will let you know if that is needed. But yeah, I will be in touch with the guys at the Hyperledger that are helping us with the process and see if there is a need for that domain. But yeah, thanks for doing that. And yeah, I think that Ahmed was the other one, and it was the same question, right? Yeah, I think it was the same. So any other question related to this? If we are good, then, well, I don't have any new entry related to ADRs. This process was mainly driven by Dave Poltrak. He mentioned that he will be taking a few weeks away, but I'm not sure maybe Yuri or some of the Tim, let's.
Yeah, Esteban, so we are taking that back. So we were maintaining that together with Dave. So the TAs on working on the Open Enterprise agent. So there is one ADR that has been created by Dave before he left. But that ADR is not yet committed in the repository. So we will move it this week to the repository in a draft state. So it means that that ADR will be around improving the error management in the background jobs that are processing the issue, present, and connection records. So yeah, you can expect it to be published somewhere this week. Yeah, and then we will have to implement it and also implement all the other ADRs that we already released. So so we are on it. I mean, at the TA team level.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So yeah, let's try to have this table updated with the status of things. Normally,
Yeah.
what I do is there is a channel in the Discord where I think mostly the developers are in. Usually post in there the slides before this meeting. So in case you want to add something to this table or basically anything else to the presentation, you can do so.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, sure.
Okay. So anyone has any other comment related to IDRs? No, we're good. So, well, a quick update on the project roadmap. We had this GitHub project thing that we started to use, but basically this dashboard only is presenting the status of issues that are being opened by the community by the most parts. But the thing is, there is a huge bulk of work that is being done by the Tala Prism team that is not visible. So basically, it is because in this transition process, we before used to manage everything in Jira. Obviously, this is not Jira. So there is a lot of things that are currently under development that are not visible. So until we manage to get that transition done, it will take time. What we want to do is to provide the community a little bit of visibility of what features are being developed and what are the guys working on. So what I'm going to do is collect from our internal systems maybe a list of things that are coming that are part of the ongoing development stage, just to share it with the community. I mean, it's not going to be a nice dashboard in GitHub yet, but what we want to do is at least gives you some visibility of things and features that are part of the current pipeline. So that's an update on that matter. Probably it's going to be a presentation or something like that, not so fancy. Any comment about that matter?
One thing I've noticed that on the GitHub, our project is called Project Roadmap, while other projects have their respective name. It was hard for me to discover the project without the link, to be honest.
Okay.
So maybe we should
Yeah.
name it Prism or something.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, that's true. I will rename this as well.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
Anything else? So Then we can move to the open issues. Yeah, I was thinking that I don't know, maybe if Yuri or one of the engineers want to present the open issues instead of me, just for the sake of letting someone else participate.
No problem. Can you open the link of
Sure.
Open Enterprise Agent and edit specification?
You are wanting to look to which one?
Yep. The first one.
This one?
Mhm. So this is a new ticket, and we already have a PR for this. So I don't want to describe details of this issue. You can read it offline. But overall, this issue was picked up, and we have a PR for this, and it will be released in next month, next release cadence. Yep, a lot of detail.
Okay, yes, I'm seeing that. Okay.
So Pat picked it up and implemented, fixed the issue. Can you go back?
Mm-hmm.
Second and third issues are in our backlog. It's issues that we discussed at the previous call. It's more a matter of documentation and hiding the backend services behind the proxy that will serve as HTTP endpoint. I guess it will be documented and released in next release as well.
Okay. So this one is going to be also part of
In
the
progress.
next release? Okay. Yeah, this one is just a MD file for the maintainers, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I think for this one also, there is a PR now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks ago. Probably, Shailesh, we can close this ticket.
No, I raised, so there were two things in this PR. One was the documentation problem, and one was the beyond address that we should validate the URL and not allowed to create. So I raised a PR today, which should validate the URL as well. So we don't put up the Prism agent with wrong URL. I mean, invalid
Okay,
URL when I say.
At least part of the ticket is fixed.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the last
So
one-
now it is fully closed now. We could close once, I mean, Ben, please review the PR actually.
Thank you,
Okay.
Shailesh.
And the final one that we have is this memory leak that has been around for a while.
Yep, Dave Poltorak was investigating this issue, and we can't reproduce it in our environment, and we need to find another engineer who can pick it up. So this issue should be put on hold for now.
Okay. So basically, these are the issues that we have open for now. The other discussion that is around that is not in this repository, but is related, is the discussion about a Prism did method, the matter about having a BDR identifier. I see that there is already a nice discussion in here taking place. Probably we are going to continue the discussion for a while. My impressions on the matter is that It looks like the Prism method was conceived to be specific to Cardano. Now, because things tend to evolve, there is that possibility of people wanting to have another underlying blockchain to use as BDR. Probably the one that may be the first candidate will be Midnight. That is still a little bit under development discussion. I'm not sure yet exactly how it is going to look like. But one thing that I believe is one of the not officially or maybe officially defined goals of Identus is to be blockchain agnostic. If I recall correctly, when we made the proposal of the OEA, we mentioned that we were aiming to be blockchain agnostic. That is obviously a complex discussion, but my viewpoint on the matter is that even if the DID-Prism method is only specific for Cardano, maybe we need to consider in the future the possibility of supporting a different DID method for another BDR. But yeah, I guess a lot of discussion needs to be done around that matter. Maybe having a DID Identus at some point in the future, or exploring those possibilities. But yeah, I'm not sure if someone wants to add something to the conversation.
Yeah, so thanks for the good summary, Esteban. One question I have is regarding the Prism spec itself. So who owns that? So will that still be an IOG repository, and will it be owned by IOG, or will it also move to Hyperledger?
That's an interesting question because, for example, this is my opinion on the matter. If the DID-Prism specification really is conceived only to be Cardano specific for whatever reason, for me, it doesn't hurt to let the specification stay within IOG's space. For me, it makes more sense to have in Hyperledger specifications or things that are more agnostic in nature. That is just my viewpoint. But yeah, I mean that decision has not been, actually this is the first time that we hear that question, if we're planning to move the specification into Hyperledger. For me, it is in a good place right now, given that it's Cardano specific. But yeah, if at some point there is some change in the specification to make it blockchain agnostic or not, maybe we can reevaluate what to do with that.
And who is the decision maker on that issue in the end?
That's a good question. Because DID-Prism, if you consider Prism as a brand, that is going to remain a IOG brand. So that's also maybe another of the factors that I consider add more weight to keeping the specification within the Prism space and not within the Hyperledger one.
And when we go back a little bit in time, so we had the discussion somewhere like in December, January, where Bart was mentioning that this new project will or should be VDR agnostic. So was this just an idea, or was there any effort behind it? Like from an architecture point of view, that you were already planning this plug-in model you mentioned, or did you at that point had any specific VDR like Midnight already in mind and already some use cases there? Or is this just at the moment, is this all just an idea and potential development, but nothing more substantial?
Yeah, Yuri?
Yep, thanks for question, Bjorn. I can answer it. Being agnostic to VDR doesn't mean to use the same DIT method and different VDRs. It means to be able to use different DIT methods and the same agent, and we have this planned in our roadmap. So if you want to use Prism agent with Cardano blockchain, you will use DIT Prism. If you want to use any other DIT method with another blockchain, we are going to invest some time. At least it's in our roadmap to make agent agnostic to different DIT methods. For instance, as far as I know, Aries and Akapai support at least 2 or 3 DIT methods, and each DIT method corresponds to different blockchain. I think that we will follow the same way.
Okay, but I mean that this is a huge investment. I mean, you can easily construct a DIT which would work on another blockchain. You can easily verify a credential from another blockchain. That's not the point. But you need a lot of additional infrastructure there. You need the resolvers which work with your code base. You maybe need your own node implementation, most likely. I mean, Aries is completely different than Prism. I mean, you can't just leverage the blockchain.
As far as I know, Aries just support the different DIT methods using the abstraction layer and contribute implementation of particular methods. Probably we will use DIT universal DIT resolver and universal DIT registrant. It's currently available specs for updating DITs and for resolving DITs in the ecosystem.
Yeah,
so we have a predefined endpoint and API, and each DIT method usually corresponds to a particular chain. And regarding cost of implementation, we had absolutely similar conversation around year and a half ago when we started to work on Prism V2. And it was long conversation together with Ezekiel and other architects. And after analyzing complexity and different security concerns, we just decided to roll back our changes in the code, because we already started to do this, and keep a simple DIT Prism method and a simple specification. Mostly for simplification and security concerns.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can find this code in a Prism agent. Just first commit. I can send you a link if you want.
But to clarify the question and the answer, it was not clear to me. Is it in the roadmap that we make in this case, Identus, the open enterprise agent, more agnostic, or make the DIT Prism more agnostic? Because we are talking about different stuff, right? Should the agent that we have now have that interface to support other DITs, or should the DIT Prism support other block changes? What is in the roadmap? Because it was not
as far as
clear
I
to me.
remember, the first option. So Prism agent will be able to support other DITs, not only DIT Prism, just to decouple a Prism agent from the Cardano blockchain in the future.
Okay.
So to check if I am following correctly this, so basically my understanding is that we want to have the Identus Cloud Agent provide some sort of interface, I guess, for other DIT methods. So if someone wants to implement a specific BDR, they basically can implement the DIT midnight whatever DIT method, and then they can create all the other underlying things that they need to do, like equivalent for the node and all that stuff. Is that kind of approach?
Yes, something like that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, then maybe we can even close that issue. I mean, there's another point because of the security and that you can still post publish the DIT on pre-pod and mainnet. Yeah, so is this still an issue, or should we just then say, okay, Prism DIT must be, or DIT Prism must be always on the mainnet, and everything else should be ignored if you find the
So
yeah, sorry.
Yuri, if you let me jump, sorry. I think there is two conversations. One is on making the agent more agnostic on what DIT methods are used by that agent. And the second is how can we make the Prism agent, the Prism DIT, more aware of what network is that it's stored on. So I think there are like parallel conversations. So we can potentially update the DIT method to include the network, which would be not as difficult as the second task, which is making the agent agnostic on the DIT method.
Yes, so this issue here is exactly for the DIT method.
Yep.
And how it's defined right now, the DIT method only exists on the mainnet of Cardano. Everything else is not defined. And here is like, what should we do to support other networks, including the testnet and stuff like that? And we should keep the issue open on GitHub.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah.
I have an answer for this. In the node, when you deploy node, you specify the network with which it's going to be synchronized and to which network the transactions are going to be published.
No, that doesn't work. So the DIT method only says that it is on the mainnet, and everything else that exists with a DIT, if you're going to search for the DIT Prisma, you must search on the mainnet. If it's on other nets, you can just ignore.
Yes, it's according to the spec, but as far as I know, it's possible to publish DIT Prism in testnet as well. But it shouldn't be resolved by official universal resolver. But you can resolve it in your local Prism node. I propose to continue this conversation in this issue and clarify the problems that we are trying to solve or things that we are trying to improve.
Okay, yeah, that looks like a good approach because, yeah, the discussion is more nuanced as usual. Yeah, that is the last item that I have here. As usual, we have a space for questions and answers, general questions and answers. Also open to comments, suggestions, anything that you can give us in feedback to help us improve not only the code base and the project, but as well as these sessions. We are always willing to make them better. So if anyone has any question, comments, suggestion, everything is welcome. Okay.
Esteban,
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
find my hand. Sorry. So funny. So I just wanted to check with Bjorn in terms of the did method, and whether that is housed in Hyperledger or not. You know, Bjorn, do you see any reason as to why the did method should be housed in Hyperledger or not?
Well, I mean, where the discussion is currently going, it doesn't have to be on Hyperledger. But when we go the other way, that did Prism would support other networks, it would make sense. But yeah, not at the moment then. So let's wait where this discussion is going and then maybe discuss this topic again in 2 weeks.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, so if there are no more questions or comments, thank you everyone for joining today. And next week we will have the usual outreach call on the same time slot. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, Esteban.
See
Bye bye,
you.
guys.
Thank you, Esteban. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.